Good morning, everybody. This is Stan Calloway, and welcome to my brand new YouTube channel dedicated to Windows 10 and specifically Windows 10 Professional. And it's called Technology News and Reviews. And what I endeavor to do in this YouTube channel is to discuss things relevant to Windows 10, Microsoft Windows 10, and review applications that run in it. And so with that in mind, my first video is going to be about an application that I use all the time when I create my videos, and I use it to transcode those videos into various formats usable by other editing software that also run in Windows 10. One being DaVinci Resolve 15, and another one being OBS, which is Open Broadcaster Software. Some people call it Open Broadcaster Studio, but I think it's Open Broadcaster Software. We'll get into those and look at those later. Right now I want to look at another application. It's called Handbrake, and let me go ahead and pull it up. And Handbrake is a transcoder. It's not a file ripper or anything like that. It just transcodes files from one format to another. And in this particular example, for demonstration purposes today, I'm going to take and convert an Mp4 file, video file, into an MKV video file. All right, so here it is. This is Handbrake. If you come down here to these links at the bottom, or Preferences, Help, and About, if you click on About Handbrake, it tells you the current version, which is I'm using, which is 1.1.2. I think 1.2.2 is the current version, 64-bit. I do need to upgrade that, and I will do that soon. The website for Handbrake is this one right here, which is handbrake.fr. It's a French website. Let me go ahead and click on this link and bring it up. So here's Handbrake, the open source video transcoder. Here is a download link for Handbrake 1.2.2, which is the current version for Windows 10. If you're still using 7 or 8.1, you can get it as well for this platform. For your platform. There are other platforms it's available on, and that being Mac OS and Linux. So you can get it for Mac OS here and for Linux, Ubuntu, Debian, for sure. And then there's some old releases here under the archive. I'm sure you can get it for Arch Linux and some of the other Debian and such. There are nightly bills, and there are downloads that you can grab there. And then there is a command line version that you can get with source code only. So if you want to be adventurous and get into Arch Linux and compile your own source code, you can do that as well. All right, so if we go back to the home page and look at some more information about Handbrake, if you go to the docs web page here, there are some documentation on Handbrake. If you click the English version, here's Handbrake 1.2.0 to 1.2.2. If you click that, here's the full documentation on the application. It's a great application, and I'll get into that in a moment and show you exactly what it does and how it does it. So take a look at that, and consider using Handbrake if you're into videography and you want to transcode those videos. Okay, so let me close this, and let's get back to here. Under the Preferences, you have a General tab here. You can check for updates monthly. You can check them as weekly if you wish. I'm going to go ahead and set mine to weekly. When done, you can tell Handbrake what to do. You can either do nothing, you can shut down, suspend, hibernate, lock the system, log off, or quit Handbrake. This one right here, lock system, is good. Let's say you're in the middle of transcoding a large file, several hundred megabytes in size or even larger, or multiple files, say from a folder, which Handbrake is capable of handling. You can tell Handbrake to lock the system once it's completed. So once it's done, it will shut itself down and lock your system so that when you walk away, you don't have to worry about somebody else getting into it. You can change the path to your favorite media player here. Mine's VLC media player in Windows 10. And you can browse to that path. I have mine set for VLC media player. And then here's the user interface options that you can choose from. I've chosen to show previews on the summary tab. You can do other things like minimize the system tray, which requires a restart here of the application, etc., etc. For output files, I've ticked the box that says automatically name the output files, okay? And then inside the default path of where to send that file, I've told it to click Browse to set the default, okay? So that means when I'm transcoding a file, I'm going to have to click the Browse button on the home interface of the application to tell Handbrake where to send that file. If I put in a specific default path here, then it would Handbrake would send that file or future files to the same location all the time. I like to change around with where I send files, so I'm going to leave it the way it is. The file format of what it saves is the source and title. I've ticked the two boxes here below which says change the case to title case for the title itself. So if I do upper and lower case, it's going to change that title to a title case format. And then replace underscores with spaces. So if I happen to put an underscore in the file name, it's going to take and change that to a space. If I untick that deliberately, if I'm working in Linux, for instance, because it is a very case-sensitive operating system, I would leave that unchecked. Okay, so I'm going to leave that checked for now. And then the Mp4 file extensions, automatic. Always use Mp4 or always use M4K. All right. I'm going to change this file that I'm working with here to MKV, so it doesn't really matter. But I'm going to go back and tick that always use M4V rather. And the reason I'm going to be doing that is because for whatever reason, YouTube likes to process an M4V file over an MP4. It's much faster processing time, much faster uploading time. And just for your information, if you have a higher bit rate on your videos that you're transcoding, they will upload and process much faster on YouTube as well. All right. Okay, so under the video section, you can enable or disable the quick sync decoding. I leave it disabled. For advanced here, you can prevent the system from sleeping while encoding. I like to do that because I don't want it to go to sleep while it's in the middle of a transcode, especially a large file. If you've got disk space worries here, you can set this to look for low disk space and warn you when you've got low disk space, so you don't start a transcode that's going to take a while and then find out later that you ran out of hard drive space. In my particular case, I don't have to worry about it. I've got a big hard drive. It's a SSD 1 tera, so I don't have to worry about anything about that. The priority level of your application, I've got it set below normal. I'm going to go ahead and set it to normal, which means that its advantage here in taking the CPU's time to run this application as opposed to another one is normal. Okay, if I want to set it to high, that means it's going to hog the CPU time, and other applications will have to take a back seat. If I do low, then it's just the opposite. Okay, I'm going to set it to normal. Some of these other settings down here I really haven't gotten into, but I want to clear log files older than 30 days. There's really no reason to keep them around, so I tick the box there. Under updates, here's the current version, and I can check for updates here if I want to do that manually. And then about Handbrake, here's the information about copyright on the application. It is a free program. You don't have to pay anything for it. If you do, you've got scammed. Even in Windows 10. It's a free program in Windows 10 as well. All right, so let's go back to the home page. Let's go back here. And you can take files into Handbrake for transcoding in a couple of different ways, 3 different ways here. You can either select individual files and go out and get the file you want, or you can select individual folders, an entire folder that has multiple files in it, and we'll take all those files and transcode them. Or you can drop a file into this window right here from your File Explorer. So if you bring it over, here's the file that I want to transcode. So I'm just going to drop it into this window here, and you can see that it immediately picked it up. I'm going to go back, and here's the preview that I want to look at of that file. All right, the first thing you need to do, remember I told you that I leave the option of where to put the transcoded file open. So I'm going to take and select Browse here. It requires me to do that. And I'm going to tell it the file name is going to be hardening the remote SSH server part 1 .mkv. All right, and I believe I thought I had it changed. There we go, mkv. I'm going to save it. All right, so the format here is mkv. This is where it's going, raw videos, and there's the file name, and there's the file extension. You can look at dimensions, and you can look at filters and video, and change the video codec if you want. The frame rate, I leave it 30. Constant quality of 22 RF. Peak frame rate here. For audio, I can change that. If I want to, I leave it at AAC codec, which is the AV codec. Bit rate of 160. And then if you would have subtitles and chapters to your videos, you can work with those as well. I'm just going to leave that on the summary tab. This video is 19 minutes and 30 seconds long, so I'm not going to have you sit through this whole thing. I'll stop the video, let it go to the end, and then come back. So the way the process runs is you take, after you've told Handbrake where you want the file to go that you're transcoding. Well, before I do that, let me show you that over here are the presets. So you have presets that you can select here. I've set the fast 1080p 30. I have a 1920 by 1080p monitor, and I want my videos to be high quality YouTube videos at 1920 by 1080 high definition 1080p. And so that's what I've set here with the 30 frames per second frame rate. All right. If you set it higher than that, it's going to take a long time to transcode. 30 is pretty normal. Okay, I'll leave it at that, and so I don't need to go beyond that. You can come down here and you can select your transcoding for various platforms of devices. For instance, you can set it for Android 1080p 30 or Apple 240p 30 or whatever you want to do, even PlayStation, that kind of thing. So this application has a lot of possibilities. You can even do legacy transcoding here. If you click the down arrow, normal, high profile, iPod, I don't use iPod anymore. I used to. Apple TV and Android. For production, you can select various production rates. Matroska, you can select those as well. Okay, but I leave it on 1080p 30 fast. All right. Once you get that set, then you can come back over here, and here's the queue right here. You click this button, Add to Queue, and what that does is it takes that file that you're transcoding and queues it up for Handbrake to work with. And then when you click this button right here, it starts the transcode process. So I'm going to go ahead and click it, and you can see that it's already started the transcoding. It's going to make one pass, and it's currently at 1%. This is a long file. It's a 40.1 frames per second average, 42 average here. Time remaining about 10 minutes and 52 seconds. It's elapsed 20 seconds. No jobs pending, and then when done, Handbrake is going to perform an action that throws up a banner that says proceed or not, and if I don't respond to it, then Handbrake will just shut itself down. All right. So this is going to take a while, so I'm going to pause the video and come back to the video after it is done. Okay, I'm back. We have a little less than a minute remaining on this encoding process from Handbrake. As you can see, we're at about 91% right now. Handbrake has been encoding this file into an MKV format for about 8 minutes and 26 seconds. We have no pending jobs. So when this is done, I'll show you the actual file itself, the result of the transcoding that was performed, and just take a look at it, look at the file itself, and show you that it was successful. File size is the other important thing as well. I think an MKV file is going to be a larger than an Mp4, but that's okay. I just wanted to do this for demo purposes. We've got about 20 seconds left. We're at 96%, and pretty soon we're going to get that banner that I referred to earlier, which says proceed or not. You can cancel it if you want to at that point. But we're getting close to that point now, and so I'll show you what I'm doing when I get there. Okay, so at 99.85%, there we go. When done, proceed or cancel. So I'm going to say proceed. And so that closes the Handbrake application, and we're done. So the file was successfully transcoded, and so let me go to the location here where it has been transcoded. Here is the file, the original file. Let's see, was the Mp4, and that file was 40.2 megabytes in size. Okay, and then we transcoded it into an MKV file, and so the MKV file looks like it might even be smaller. Yeah, 39.3, so it is a smaller file, not larger. So this MKV file, and this is an MKV video format, VLC, it's 39.3, and the other one was larger, but I can't remember the exact size of it. Let me go back to properties, and it was 40.2, so it's almost the same size. I do see quite a difference between like a WMV file and an Mp4, though. I will tell you that. Much compressed Mp4 over WMV. So anyway, so this has been Handbrake, showing you that you can transcode a file from Mp4 to MKV, for instance. Let me go ahead and play that file, part of it. It is my file, so it won't matter. Okay, this is Dan Calloway here. Good morning, and today I want to talk about hardening your SSH. Okay, so you get to see that the file was properly transcoded and played just fine. So this has been a review of Handbrake, an application that you can use to transcode your files, your video files and audio files, for your videography purposes, for YouTube or any other site that you want to create videos for. So hope you enjoyed this video. My name again is Dan Calloway, and the website is Technology News and Reviews for Windows 10. And if you like my videos, please subscribe. Hit that subscribe button down below. I'll leave a link out to Handbrake so you can download it yourself in Windows 10 down below the video, and hit that bell to the right of the subscribe button if you would, so that you can get notified every time I upload a video. And so hope you enjoyed this video, and you have a nice day.